Okay. Good afternoon. I am Aimer Vasquez from Colombia. Do you hear me very well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I am PhD student in Universidad del Valle. This research was developed by Nature Watcher Club of Valle del Cauca with a citizen participation. The presentation is an extrafloral nectary association in different growth stages of Bombacoideae trees in a tropical urban ecosystem. The Ants-extrafloral nectary association is old. There is a report from Eocene in Colorado of this structure and ants associated with this structure with recent data. And there is this is interaction is present in different group of ants and plants with different nectaries form and locations. The diversity of more or less 4,000 plant species present extrafloral nectaries, but the family Malvaceae represents only the 8% of the species with this structure. In Malvaceae, the extrafloral nectaries are present on the lamina and petiole of the leaves and near to the brachycepals. The petiole, the structure in the petiole is only present in the Bombacoideae subfamily. This group is a tropical family with the herbaceous and woody plants, and there is a very large individual as Adansonia grandieri in Madagascar and Ceiba pentandra here in Colombia or Neotropic region. Extrafloral nectary occur in the Adansonia and Kapok group in the phylogeny of this group, and the EFN or extrafloral nectaries are present in the Bombacoideae and Bombacoideae, Pachira, and striated bar clades. There are reports of associated ants in the genus Ceiba only, and only in the most comprehensive report of the association with the ants was developed in India with 2 species corresponding to Camponotus compressus and Camponotus rufoglaucus, and this is not the native distribution of this plant. For this reason, we described and illustrated extrafloral nectaries on petiole in 5 neotropical Bombacoideae species, also document the ants associated with the EFN of 5 neotropical Bombacoideae species, and finally, we determine how the ant-EFN association varies with the Bombacoideae growth stage in the 3 neotropical species. The research was developed in southwestern Colombia in South America between February and March of 2021, specifically in the Cauca River Valley at 1,000 meters above sea level in the city of Cali and near to the city of Palmira. In the south, the majority of record are from the south of Cali. We visit the 5 public parks in the city near to Palmira in a green area of the International Center for Tropical Agriculture. In each green area, we look for all the plants belonging to the Bombacoideae. Leaves and reproductive structure were collected for the identification with experts. And for each plant was georeferences and measure the diameter and height of each tree. For the small plants, extrafloral nectaries in all the leaves were searched, while those with more than 3 leaves, only 3 branches were examined. In each nectary were described in the maximum length and width. The ants associated with each nectary were counted and collected for identification in the laboratory. Each reported species was photographed in field. We found 5 species of Bombacoideae tree identified as Ceiba pentandra, Ceiba speciosa, Pachira aquatica, Pachira chinata, and Pseudobombas septennatum. C. pentandra was the most common species. The species are different in morphology of the flowers, and specific for the in 34 plants with a maximum height of 1.5 meter belong to C. pentandra. The extrafloral nectaries appear in the form of the elongate furrow. In this part, it's possible to see. And however, in a 20-meter tall tree, only some leaf had a discrete growth in the same part of the petioles. A similar pattern was present in C. speciosa, but the tall tree present a more visible structure. In Pachyra aquatica and Pachyra echinata, the tall trees present a discrete furrow in the same part. The smallest plant of Pachyra echinata had a visible long structure, because in Pachyra aquatica it's not possible to find the small plant. In Pseudobomba septenatum, the pattern is repeat, the same in the small and large specimen. Okay. In Ceiba pentandra, in 38 plants, we detect that 6 species occur in small plants of C. pentandra. The most common is Wasmannia auropunctata, Crematogaster longispina, Paratrechina longicornis, and other species that is in processing for the identification. For Pachyra echinata, 4 species were recorded, and the most common was Camponotus planatus in young plant. Similarly to Pichinata, Pseudobomba septenatum, Pseudobomba septenatum, the most common species was Camponotus planatus and Crematogaster longispina, and other 2 species in 4 individuals. Additionally, other insects were reported in the nectaries uses ant, corresponding to the Tephritids belong to Rebellion and Eucesta. This is the most complete description of the extrafloral nectaries on the petiole of the Bombacoideae trees. Also, all insects to plants associated are new reports. It's the field report of the variation of this interaction according to the growth states. Before, only the description is not don't describe or didn't describe what is the specific growth state of the plant was present the association. But in our study, we detect what is the differentiation, for example, in Pachyra insignis. Okay, Pachyra is not good example because only we detect tall plants, but for example, in Pachyra echinata, and Diptera is present in a small specimen, but when the plant change or growth, the structure is small and lost the capacity to attract the ants. And it's a similar pattern, for example, to Ceiba pentandra, Croricea speciosa, or Ceiba speciosa. But in Pseudobomba septenatum, the pattern is different. In the tall plants, the plant can attract the insects. The presence of the EFN in the petiole occur throughout to the phylogeny of Bombacoideae. The presence of the ant is more variable because in some group, for example, Ceiba speciosa is not present, but is present in the Ceiba pentandra and Pseudobombas. And in Erioteca was reported in Brazil, but is not ant extrafloral nectar association. It is possible that this plant structure is ancient with a possibility function of repelling herbivores such as arthropods or possible extinctive mammals that is record or the paleontology suggests that is attractive to the mammals in the past. Okay. The other contribution is because the Ceiba pentandra is a neotropical tree, but is used in other continents as Asia or Africa. In India, 2 species were reported in the association, but in native condition or distribution, the diversity of ant is bigger. And this is a urban ecosystem. It's possible that in native forests, for example, here in the Cauca River, valley of Cauca River, the diversity is more. The other particularities or important result was the differentiation in the association according to the plant species in the same locality. In this case, Pachyra echinata and Pseudobomba septenatum share the association with the Camponotus planatus. But in other way, Ceiba pentandra is associated with other species in the same localities of park in south of Cali. The 3 main ants have been previously reported with other plant families in Panama, Costa Rica, Mexico. In one case, the ant offered a protective effect to the herbivory in the Zingiberaceae plant. We found in our research that there is herbivory, for example, to Agromycete diptera or Lepidoptera, and Chinea rivera detect 12 species pests for Ceiba pentandra. And it's a new record that Psyllid attacked the Pachyrachinata also. There is a no previous report. In conclusion, we confirmed the presence of the EFN in Ceiba pentandra, Ceiba speciosa, Pachyra aquatica, Pachyrachinata, Pseudobombas pentandra in small and tall plants. Second, the ants are associated only with the small individual of C. pentandra and P. chinata, and tall of the Pseudobombas pentandra. 7 ant species were interactive with the EFNs, and this is a more complete report of ant EFN association in Bombacoideae tree. In perspective, we consider that it's important to evaluate what is the influence of ants in the reduction of the herbivory of Bombacoideae plants, in similar way to the Panama research with the Zingiberales group. We appreciate to Tatiana Pineda for the field support, to Jorge Giraldo, Alexander Barro for plant identification, and the biology, ecology, and evolutionary of Arthropod Lab for access of equipment, and Oliveira, Kenborough, Del Claro, Carvalho, Sobrino, and Gift for sharing the information. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So there should be more than enough time for questions. John Harity has one in the chat. Says no Eucharid laying their eggs.
What?
In the chat, John Harity is asking whether there are Eucharids laying their eggs around the nectaries.
Oh, okay.
You got Wasmannia going to the nectaries. You should get some planidia, some eggs.
Thank you, John. Yes, it's a beautiful system because there is not previous report in the family, in the Bombacoideae family, and it's important in the ecosystem of the neotropics. And there is more question on what happened with the herbivory. But for example, in the urban ecosystem, that is the system that we evaluate, is not clear relation with herbivory. But for example, in forest is the next question that we try to ask. Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Javier. Some planidia there? No. We don't detect the planidia now, because the problem is that this research was developed in the middle of the pandemic. We walk with the friends in the club and together detect this system, and we collect the insect, but the access, for example, to the laboratory is complicated now. Only we have the identification with the ant because we have a history and study of the ants here in Colombia, especially here in Cali, and it's easy, but it's interesting to detect what happened with the planidia, Javier. Thank you. Okay. Ochroma, no, we don't. There is Ochroma here in Cali, but only with it. We began with the Ceiba pentandra. That is the more common, because Ceiba pentandra has the particularity that the dispersion is with the wind, and there are a lot of individual growth. In Ochroma also is the similar pattern, and there is a report of the EFN in